Hi guys, this is Danya Dixon with gelmedia.net, and today we're on Queen Street about to interview Jake Gold, an acclaimed music manager. So come on guys, let's go for the interview. Hi, this is Danya Dixon, and today we have the pleasure of talking to the one and only Jake Gold, who discovered and managed the Tragically Hip, who is the president of the Management Trust, and who's actually managing a really neat band right now called Crash Karma. How are you today, Jake?
Good. How are you, Danya?
I'm very, very good. Can we actually start the interview by talking about Crash Karma?
Sure.
Tell me, how did this medley come about? It's such a unique combination of artists.
Well, Amir Epstein, the bass player, decided he wanted to write with Edwin, who was the singer in I Mother Earth and had a couple of records as a solo artist. And before he got over to see Edwin, he decided that he was going to ask Edwin to put a band together.
Neat.
And he convinced Edwin that he could get Jeff Burrows from Tea Party, the drummer, and Mike Turner from Our Lady Peace, the guitar player, to be in his band. And
wishful thinking, you would think, in the beginning, right?
Well, he actually had them. He basically told all of them that the other guys were already in.
Oh, okay. All right.
And before they knew it, they were in a room together jamming. And they made a record, and they had recorded probably about half the tunes, or maybe 4 or 5 of the tunes were finished, and they came to me, and I said, let's do this, and it's been a little over a year now, and the record's out, and they're on the road, and they've had 2 top 10 singles already. And
good for them. And what kind of genre or style of music?
It's rock music.
Rock music?
Yeah.
And what's their next show that they're going to be playing?
They're playing in Barrie on the 24th.
Okay.
The big outdoor show with Default.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a show in Peterborough. They just came back from a tour of the east coast of Canada, and now they're going out western Canada for the 2nd time this year. So
good for them.
Busy. 3rd single's out now, and yeah, they're keeping busy. And
the Tragically Hip. We have to talk about the Tragically Hip.
Sure. National
icons. How does it feel to be part of that national discovery?
Well, I mean, it's definitely something to be proud of when my partner Alan and I discovered them in '86, and we managed them until 2003, so 18 years. It's great, and it's great when a band can have an impact on a country, and there's fans all over the world, but particularly in Canada, because they definitely sang about Canada, and we're very proud of being Canadian.
Very much incorporated the Canadian style into their music.
Well, sure. Canadian identity, I think, more than anything. I think less style, but more identity. And I think a lot of Canadians identified with them, and it's not those kind of bands don't come around very often, and there hasn't been one since, and I don't know if there ever will be. So. And
how did they get discovered? They were from Kingston, right?
They're from Kingston, and a friend of my business partners sent us a tape. His brother-in-law was a friend of the band, and we listened to it. We thought it was kind of interesting, and then we set up a gig for them at a place called Larry's Hideaway here in Toronto. That doesn't exist anymore. It's now the extension of what was a park at Jarvis and Carlton, and we went and saw them play, and
was it immediate, just like that? Was it
30 seconds into the first song?
No way.
Yeah.
So was it a melody, or just some kind of feeling that you had, some kind of gut feeling? What was it?
Yeah, it was that thing. No, it was that thing.
Yeah.
Gord Downey opened his mouth. They hit the first note. He opened his mouth, and we went, whoa. Like it was just that immediate. And I looked at my partner. I said, we're going to sign these guys.
That's incredible.
Tonight.
Just right off the bat, eh?
Yeah, you just knew it.
Wow. And what kind of advice would you give to new artists or bands trying to break into the music industry?
Work hard.
Work hard, play hard kind of thing?
Play hard meaning play a lot. Not play hard, go out and party hard. That doesn't hurt, but it helps meet fans. But really, it's the Hip. We're doing 200 shows a year, if not more, in the first couple of years before we even put a record out. I mean, it's hard work. Anybody who thinks it's easy has no idea what it's like, and it never gets easy.
Yeah,
it's always hard.
Yeah,
even when you're big. The only difference is you have more trappings and everything else, but you're still away from home and you're on the road. And the bigger you get, the more you try and create an environment that's comfortable around you, whether it's a tour bus or if you get big enough and you have a plane. And you know, you stay in nice hotels, but you're still staying in nice hotels. You're not at home. You're moving all the time. That's not an easy life for anybody.
No, I couldn't imagine it. And as a management company, do you ever go on tour with the artists and the bands?
Yeah, I've been out on the road many times. Yeah,
that must be hard.
I've seen the world.
Yeah.
But I don't complain about it. I think, no.
Definitely an experience.
Well, you know, rock and roll's the passport to the world. So, you know, I got an opportunity to go to a lot of places that I probably never would have and still continue to. So, you know, I don't feel bad about having to do it, and I like it. So,
what do you say is your favorite place that you've been to?
I don't know. There's been so many, and every experience is different. Have a great time in Holland, have a great time in Paris, have a great time in Sydney, Australia, or Melbourne. You know, all those places are great. You know, and going right across Canada is fantastic. I've been all over the U.S. You know, I think that the each individual time can also be can be great as opposed to any one city. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we had a great time in Hamburg one night.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't necessarily Hamburg. It just we had a great time in Hamburg. Yeah.
And how do you say the industry has changed in comparison to 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What kind of advice would you give to indie players coming into the industry?
Well, I think a lot of bands think, you know, and a lot of people out there think because of, you know, the digital world and that, you know, things have changed. What's changed is the delivery system, and it's changed maybe people's ability to attract an audience at a quicker and more and easier way. But at the same time, you still got to be good, and you still have to be able to attract an audience, and you still have to go out on the road and play, because there has to be a gathering place for these people to come.
Yeah.
So none of that's really changed. All of that's still the same. You know, word of mouth happened slower before than it does now.
Because of social media, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. Everything to do with the viral spreading. But you'd be surprised how fast things would spread before, when it was just over the phone. Because someone would call a friend, or they'd be at school and they'd tell 10 friends at school who would tell 10 others. And before you knew it, at the end of the school day, there'd be all these people that wanted to come to the show. So that still works, and I think that, you know, the key with all of it is that people still want to be recommended by someone they know, not necessarily, you know, just a voice out there that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, maybe radio doesn't necessarily have the same impact it used to have, but it still is impactful. In fact, if you ask most people today still how they heard about something, the first thing they say is radio, even though it may not be the first place they heard of something. So, you know, TV, there's not a lot of TV stations playing videos these days, although, you know, there's Aux TV, which is a digital station out there that's actually, you know, taking the lead from what Much Music used to be doing when they were playing indie bands and indie videos and stuff. But, you know, most videos are viewed on YouTube nowadays. So I think that anything that sits online still has to garner an audience. There's millions of videos sitting on YouTube by bands that have 5 views. You know, so you still have to be able to be really good. No, in fact, you got to be great if you're going to make it.
Yep, if you're going to make it. So, the life and the day of Mr. Jake Gold. What do you do on a typical day?